Floss Tube, and welcome to Fairy Tales and French Knots. I'm Erin, and this is my channel about cross-stitch, where I talk long enough to make my family wonder what I'm up to, but short enough that you can watch this on your lunch break. Today is Friday, September 12th of 2025, and this is episode 42, where I will not be giving you the answers to life, the universe, and everything. Sorry. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I don't have a whole lot to share. I do have some finishes and a few WIPS and a little bit of stash at the end. My life for the past month or so pretty much has revolved around my daughter's swim team and the fact that I work at a college and we are all back to school now. So it's been a lot of schedule coordination and dinner cooking and traveling across almost 3 counties to go to swim meets and things. It's just been busy, and I'm not even sure if I signed up for the Lindy Stitches fall event because I can't remember if we have an invitational on that day, on that weekend or not. So anyway, let's start with what I've finished, shall we? The first finish I have is Poet's Heart from Cozy Egg Designs. This is stitched on 40 count Ancient Mead from Dixie Sampler. And Dixie Sampler is no longer selling fabric, so you can't have this. Sorry. And I used a black silk from Silks for You. So here is piece. It turned out great. It was fun to stitch. It's a little bit more square than 5x7 maybe, or maybe it is 5x7. I'm terrible at dimensions when just eyeballing things, but it came out so nice. And I've heard that there might be a third pattern coming in this series. The first one was the inscription from Mark Twain's daughter's tombstone, which I also stitched that last year, the year before. So I'm really hoping that there's a third and I can get them all finished and hang them together on the wall. I'm more and more envisioning a tombstone wall somewhere in my house. Not just because I have Plum Street Samplers tombstone chessboard, and yeah, I really want like a creepy tombstone area in my house. I don't know why, I just do. So I got that finished. After that, or while I was working on that, I jumped back into my D's 20 Stitches Stitch for Pride 2025, and I finished the May pattern, which is this, designed to look like braided sweetgrass in recognition of a North American indigenous person who was a two-spirit, and that's as much as I can remember because I didn't print off the learning piece to talk about today. I'm sorry. But I stitched this on a 40 count Verdal from Banana Oil, and I used Mommy's Mustard floss from Rami's Creations, the long stitches, which are charted as individual back stitches, but I did them as like long satin stitches. I did those with a polyester floss that I got in a bag of threads I found at the thrift store. So I did that one. And then I also did the June design, which commemorates a French trans person. Again, I didn't print off my learning piece. It's Chevalier something. I'll put something in the notes. I can't share the learning piece in its entirety because it was a subscription piece, but this is my stitching, which the floss that L.G. Ross designed for it was inspired by Saxon green, which was a color that floss dyers or, fiber dyers tried to do by coming up with a green dye, not dyeing something first blue and then yellow. I think I got that piece of the learning correct. I hope. But what I had, I did not buy the floss pack, but I had some HDF silks, and I had luteus green in 2 different hues or shades, and I used that to create the different sections of what would have been a French military award, I believe. So there's that. And it's stitched on a very light pink from Atomic Ranch. And I'll just tell you, I can't really show it here, but when I take all of these pieces from this series, the Stitch Along, and I stack them up, I have them all, I have interfacing on the back of them. I have them all cut out, and I have them stacked up waiting for the scrapbook that I'm going to put them in. They just look so pretty because I have this green and a light pink and like a harvest gold fabric, and I used a dark gray for the March piece. So it's so pretty. Maybe I'll take a picture and insert it here. So anyway, I also did a little bit of sewing. So last summer, I think, I was at a yard sale, and the woman was a quilter, and she had tons of Moda fabric packs and other beautiful things. I did buy some fabric. I haven't done anything with that yet, but she also had in a box like small patterns and half assembled quilt blocks. And she said, everything in there is free. Just take it. What? Free? Sure. And I found this beautiful quilt block. And I thought it was like a 12 by 12 block. And I thought, I can do something with that. Well, I turned it into a project bag. So there it is. Open it up. I lined it with this snowflake check. I tried using that fabric as the back of the bag, but it's not straight. It's like cheaply woven, and it was making my brain hurt to try and get the lines in the fabric to be straight. So I figured if it's the lining fabric instead of the backing, I don't care if it's a little wobbly. So yeah, that's my lining. And then I also did some other experimenting. This brown fabric that I used for the back of the bag was very cheap. I think it came from probably Walmart, one of their cheap fabric bins. And it was really, really thin and flimsy. Well, when Joann's went out of business, one of the things I picked up was a package of fusible buckram. They had their fusible fleece and the fusible interfacing, and then this buckram, which was like almost like a cardboard. But I thought I would use that on the back of this bag. Well, it worked, but it made it super stiff. Like it practically stands up by itself. Let's see. Does it? Yeah, it doesn't. It does not fall over. But I don't know that I would recommend that again, or that I would do that again. It worked. It was a learning project, right? So that's what I've been stitching and working on in my copious amounts of free time, right? I did want to show off the framing. I think I mentioned it in my last video where I took the pin from my husband's grandmother's hat and attached it to an advertising card and a fancy hanky to make what I think looks like a fancy lady with a dress in kind of a 3D sort of effect. Well, I got that framed, and this is what my framer and I came up with. So the pin kind of acts as like a belt, gives a belt effect for her dress, which would be a hanky. And I like that there's little flowers embroidered on the hanky, and there's flowers on her dress and on her hat. So I don't know. I think it's kind of a cool idea. It worked out okay. Would I do it again and pay to have it framed? Probably not. But Grandma's pin is now in a place where we can hang it on the wall. In fact, I'll probably go hang it in the guest room once I finish this video, and it's special now. It will probably only be special to us. It isn't something that's, going to become some priceless antique, but how much stuff really does, right? So, in terms of other things I've been working on, I have been working on the Stitchy Princess World of Hedgehogs. This, I like it, but I feel like I jump around a lot on it because of just the way it's designed. That's what I've got so far. And I hate to carry my floss, so you can see why, I do this flower up here, then I have to cut my thread and move over to, maybe this one up here, which is the same shade of orange. And there's subtle changes in the colors. It's very cute. I don't dislike it. It just is very slow going. So there's that. I've been working on, this one I put aside for a while, but I don't think I showed it recently, so I bring it out again. This is Dirty Annie's Arrive Late. And it says, better to arrive late than to arrive ugly, which makes me laugh. And this is on a piece of Lappin' Loops. I started this after Midsummer Stitch because Lappin' Loops was on as one of the live YouTube streams. And I thought, well, I have their fabric. I should stitch on it. So there's that. All of the flosses are my own. I converted, I think, all of the chart. So yeah, there's that. And I'm not sure if I've made progress on the old shaker tune since I last showed it, but I'm going to show it again anyway because this is my channel and I can do that. So here is the old shaker tune. I think the word "and" is missing over here, but otherwise everything is done down to here. I didn't do the sheep yet because there's a little sheep who sits right here. And he's done in French knots. And when I tried to do them on the 40 count, they pop through or they look stupid. So maybe I'll do that in crosses. I don't know yet. We'll see. But still love giant flowers, tiny houses. Great. Love it. So there's that. So yeah, between the 3 finished pieces, those 3 pieces I've been working on, I actually have been stitching. It's just really slow going. Like I said, I stitch for about 20 minutes and then I fall asleep because I've been running with work and kid and laundry and food and life. That's how it goes, right? But stash. Stash, you say? Yes, there was some stash. The first thing was not so much a pattern as it was a tool, which is I'm probably the last stitcher in the world to discover Pattern Keeper. So yes, I downloaded Pattern Keeper, and in fact that is why I made so much progress on the D's 20 Stitches pieces, because I loaded the patterns into Pattern Keeper, and then I was finding great joy in the fact that you can like highlight with your finger what you've finished. And now I finally understand all of you stitchers who talk about being, 32.7% done. And I did 782 stitches today. And I'm like, how are you keeping track of this? And I know some people have like little clickers and keep track of all that. I'm not that person, but Pattern Keeper also does that. And it's quite wonderful, really. So the other thing I got on Pattern Keeper, once I discovered how much fun I could have with it, was this pattern, which I found on Etsy from Siren Stitchworks. It is called 5 Fathom Fantasy. Let's see if I can make it show. I love this. I love the submarine. I love the little octopus trying to grab the diver's helmet. I love the whale up at the top. The whole thing. It's just great. And will I start it right away? Probably not. I've got enough other stuff on my plate right now. But yeah, this is just so cute. And it is charted all in Weeks, Gentle Arts, Classic Colorworks, kind of an assortment of dyed flosses, but there are DMC equivalents for all of them. So I can see me using some of the overdyes, maybe for like the octopus and the boat and the border, but some of the other things I'll swap out for the DMC. So, and with the DMC equivalent being there too, I can go into my stash of overdyes and see what I have that's close. Plus, with it being in Pattern Keeper, I can see how many stitches I need to do in each thing, so I can make sure I don't run out of whatever I'm using, whether it's the called for floss or something I'm substituting or the DMC. Yeah, this is just fun. So my little data loving heart is pleased. I have that. So that was my discovery and purchase to go with it. The other thing I ordered for myself, and I did this when classes started at the college, and I was stressed out as crap, and I decided I should buy something because stress shopping is real. But I ordered from Steno Stitches one of their project portfolios, which I have. The snap works. I just have it unsnapped, but it's all strawberries and the fabric is just lovely. And ever since finding out about the Strawberry Moon Stitch Along, I've been going through my patterns going, I have a lot of strawberry stuff. So I did the one pattern with the little basket of strawberries for this year's Strawberry Moon. But now I have a project portfolio that I can use for next year and every year after, right? So it's got the vinyl pocket, it's got a thread bed, and this has the zipper pocket. This is just a little pouch pocket here, and it has a needle minder right there. So I have this, and I actually have a project in mind that I want to put in it. Actually, I have two. I haven't decided. I have Tiny Modernists, and I think I have it here. I have Tiny Modernists Mouse's Strawberry Jam. Is it loaded? Yes, it is. So I have Mouse in her Strawberry Jam, who I think is adorable. I love the mouse patterns. I know there are some new ones out too, but this is the one that right now is just cute and I think would be good in here. Oh, and I should say, the other benefit I see to having Pattern Keeper is that when I have retreats or when I go to my weekly guild meetings, I can take a project that's loaded into Pattern Keeper, because then I can, cross off what I've stitched without needing to bring a highlighter and spread paper out on the tables in front of me. I can do it all on my tablet. And I loaded fair few patterns. I'd say there's probably 30 loaded here, various sizes and themes. There's a couple Twin Peak primitives. There's some that I probably shouldn't have shown on the screen there because they have a bit blue language in them. Sorry. If you were offended, I apologize. But yeah, that's my plan with Pattern Keeper. And the other thing that I did with Pattern Keeper is I have Monster Bubbles Strawberry Fields. And I have a feeling that it's out of print for much the same reason that the Blackbird Designs, Beatles Designs went out of print for a while, was that she did not have rights to use their lyrics and perhaps got hit with a copyright violation, or maybe she took it down just to avoid having that happen. Anyway, it has Strawberry Fields Forever up one side, and then it says nothing is real and nothing to get hung about, and it has strawberries all over it. Super cute. I wanted to stitch it for quite a while, and then when I got this project portfolio, I thought, here's a time to start it. So I took it out, and holy crow, that pattern is a beast, because it's not a really big pattern and it's not a really complicated pattern, but the grid that it is printed on is tiny. And there are a lot of symbols on the chart. There are only 7 symbols on the chart, but there are 3 shades of red and pink. And the symbols that she used are questionable. Let's put it that way. I mean, she used the little square box, like a little black box, which is fine. But then she used like a squiggly M with a tail. And the grid is so small that the squiggly M with a tail ends up looking like the little black box. So I thought, all right, I will scan it and I'll put it in Pattern Keeper, and it will be much easier to use that way. Except that the scanner I have at work is not a good enough resolution to read how tiny the grid is. And it just made a mess. So I ended up going into Flosscross online, creating an account there, and I'm in the process of basically creating the pattern, recreating the pattern, so I can export it as a PDF and put it into Pattern Keeper. And I really feel like that's a special level of crazy. But I'm almost done. And I'm not going to sell the PDF. I'm not going to do anything to profit from it. I'm going to use it to stitch the pattern that I own in physical form. And when I finish with it, I will delete the PDF and the physical pattern will go back out into the wild probably, because I'm not going to keep it. I'm probably not going to stitch it more than once, given the trouble that it has given me. So that's what I've been up to, and that's my plans for the next month or so. You might not see me for a while because swim season goes until November, but we'll see. And the other thing I was thinking about doing was a giveaway. And with fall coming and all of the autumn things on the horizon, I thought that I would give away my pattern and extra flosses from 13 Oak Street. It stitches up like this. This is the pattern. It came as a kit, so I've obviously used everything that it came with, because it makes a little, it's designed to make a little pocket. So I stitched it as kitted, but you could definitely use the pattern to make another little house. There's enough floss in here. If you couldn't stitch it with these flosses, you could definitely color match to find something close, or you could just do it in whatever colors you like. So this is my giveaway. If you are interested, you must be 18. You can live anywhere, I guess. I mean, it shouldn't cost me a whole lot to pop this in an envelope because I will not mail with tracking or anything like that. So yeah, if I can fit this in a letter, a card envelope or whatever, which I think I can, I'll mail it anywhere. And just write a sentence with the word acorn. Here's a fun story about acorns, because we got married at the end of September and we had picked this beautiful little gazebo at the end of a porch on the side of Lake Erie. That sounded like really a weird description. It was a reception hall that had a porch. It was on the shores of the lake, and the porch had a gazebo. So as you're, doing all of your wedding things, you can see the lake and everything. And there were trees. We did not realize when we booked the place that they were oak trees. And at the end of September, the acorns are falling from the trees. So all of our wedding guests were treated to the sound of acorns plonking onto the gazebo roof, and some of our guests got beaned by acorns. So, in honor of our anniversary coming up at the end of the month, yes, that's why I'm doing my giveaway. I'm giving away 13 Oak Street. So, write a sentence in the comments with the word acorn, and next week, if you see in episode 43, then I've given this away. That is when I will pick a winner, use one of those random comment thingies. Acorn. Keep being nice people and making cool stuff. See you later.